Hello, and welcome to episode 30 of the Spicy Homemaker podcast. My name's Melissa, and this is a podcast about knitting and creative living. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for taking the time to check out my podcast. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's so good to be here and spend some time with you guys. And I hope you guys got a chance to see the podcast I did with Andi from Andre Sue Knits. I was out of town for work in the Washington, D.C. area, and Andi lives nearby. And so on the final night of that week, I went over to her house to hang out, and we podcasted together. It's episode 59 on her channel, Andre Sue Knits. But we had so much fun. Oh my goodness, so much fun. I knew that people who had co-hosts, I knew it was easier to podcast with a co-host. I've always known that. I didn't realize how much easier it is and how much more fun it is. Oh my goodness, just awesome time. We had such a great time, and I've got some footage left over from that time that was not in her podcast that I'm going to share with you guys after the knitting. So stay tuned for that. I had some interview questions for her. I don't know if you'd call them interview so much as kind of Andi's favorites on about like a craftsy class, her favorite one, which I think is going to surprise you guys. Her favorite book. There was some fun, interesting things in there because you guys know Andi is a very talented knitter and crafter. So stay tuned for that. I cannot wait to share that with you guys. Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming. Are you ready? We just bought our tree. We cut it down. Our family, a tradition that we do is that we cut down our Christmas tree every year. And we did that not last night, but the night before. So 2 nights ago we did that. We usually cut the tree down earlier in the day, and it's always right after Thanksgiving, and then decorate that day. A lot going on in the house right now. We bought it later in the evening, which was fun, and we are going to decorate tomorrow. We're going to spend the day relaxing, decorating, hanging out. I'm so excited. My son Kyland, who is a freshman in high school, he's 14 years old, one of the things that he has been doing, I'm really excited for him. He wanted a new computer for gaming. He's a gamer. Well, his laptop's just not beefy enough. It's not powerful enough for what he wants to do. So he wants to buy a computer. Well, he got a laptop for Christmas not too long ago. So a new computer is not in his future from us. But he has been spending the last 6 months researching. He's in robotics at school, so he knows the teacher is amazing with computers and the kids there, of course. And he's been asking questions of the right people, doing lots of research, and he put together a list to build his own computer. And I am so happy and excited for him just watching this whole process. So he gets his final piece tomorrow, I believe, tomorrow or the next day. The final piece is coming in and he'll be able to build that. But it's been really cool to watch that. He had to watch his funds. He had to save money. He had to work extra. I mean, it's not easy. He did get a little bit from us for Christmas, an early Christmas present, because, well, it would have taken him a while to get the whole thing. But I also think there's something to be said for having him pay for a lot of it on his own. If he's invested his own money in it, he is more inclined to take extra good care of it. So I don't know, it's just a lot of fun things going on over here, preparing for the holidays and hanging out with family, and I'm having a great time. I hope you guys are enjoying the holidays and, you know, not letting it stress you out, because really, this is the time of year that people get easily stressed, and don't succumb to that. You know, if something has to go off the list, let it go off the list. It's okay. Spend time with your family. That's what this is about. So, with the Christmas decorating, going a little bit off course with buying the tree and not decorating right away, I don't have my Christmas tree, my little Christmas tree behind me, which makes me a little sad, but it's going up tomorrow. But I wanted to show you guys what I got in the mail from one of my friends. This is from Jamie. She knit this beautiful little star for me, and that is definitely going on my tree. Thank you so much, Jamie. I love that tree that goes behind me on my desk. It has all hand knit ornaments on it. I love it, and I cannot wait to add this to it. Well, after the Rhinebeck sweater that I showed you guys, which is called the Victoria sweater, that's a pattern paid for on Ravelry, there was a lot of interest in that because of the unique construction. And after the feedback I got from you guys, I did decide that we are going to kick off a cal for that particular sweater in January. I'm going to open up a thread so we can start planning and talking about it now, choosing our colors. So stay tuned for that, all right? I'm really excited about that. I'm going to knit another one because I've already got the colors in my head, some ideas of what I want to do for the next one. So here's what we're going to go over today. I'm going to show you guys some knitting and one FO that is not a knitting project. So that's going to come up right after this. And I'm going to put in the clip of Andi and I from our podcasting. So show you some of that. And then I have the prizes for the Knitalong that's closing out that I did with Mina. It did close out. It's done. It's the wee little knits along that Mina and I did. And so I'm going to announce the winners for that. There was an Instagram winner and one from the chatter thread in my group, so that will be in there. I'm also going to cover 2 reviews that are not going to, don't worry, they're not going to be really lengthy, but they are going to be good reviews that I think you're going to be very interested in. One is on the Love and Leche. It's a lotion bar, and I've got feedback from the viewers. You guys were included in this. And another is a great pattern collection that I cannot wait to share with you guys. 4 patterns that was designed by 2 ladies, and I had some interview questions I want to share with you guys. That was also reviewed by you guys. So I've got some great notes on that I want to share with you guys. The other thing is, I got some stash that I have to share with you guys. There's some beautiful yarn I have acquired through gifts and buying over the last few days, and some gorgeous project bags. I have an Andi sock blanket I'm going to share with you guys. It's just gorgeous. I can't wait to show you guys. And I think that's it. That'll wrap it up. I think that's a lot for one podcast, don't you? So let's just dive right in with the knitting. Okay. Let's start with finished objects. Finished objects. Now, let's do this one. I've been wanting to share this with you guys for a while now. Since we have come back from Rhinebeck, my son Ashton and I went, I have picked up needle felting. I have been doing it off and on since we've returned, and I really like it. And one of the finished objects I made from that is this. It's a little gnome. He's a tiny little guy. Ashton loves little gnomes. I made him one. He and I both, well, we made the first one together. And this one was all on my own. And yeah, I think he's pretty cute. And I just wanted to show you guys that because needle felting is a lot of fun. And yeah, there's these little gnome guys, they're very easy. It takes, just a little bit of time to kind of get used to how you actually needle felt. And I'm not going to get into that here because that's like a whole other episode, but I thought I'd show you this. I'm really having fun with needle felting. My next finished object is a Christmas ornament, and this is a gift for a friend, Mary Claire, who I am telling not to watch this podcast until we meet. I am hosting an advent calendar swap in my Ravelry group, and I was paired up with Mary Claire and another Janice, also. Hers has already went out. Mary Claire and I live right next to each other. So we're actually going to meet up in person and give each other our advent calendars, and that happens this week. So one of the things I'm giving her is this wee little sock I made. And I'm going to show you some socks that I'm making actually out of this. I'm calling them my friendship socks. But this is a pattern by Susan B. Anderson. It's a paid for pattern. It was great. I love it. And I did try out on the toe. I tried out Susan B. Anderson's newest addition to her smooth operator sock pattern, which I bought. She put a different toe decrease in there. She keeps updating it and adding more to it. It's kind of really cool. But I thought, hey, why not try it on here? And you know what? I'm very happy with the single decrease line. That is a really cool technique, and I love doing it on here. I'm not gonna say anything about the yarn because that's gonna come up in another project, but these are a lot of fun. I am going to do an I-cord, like a little circle to put a hook on. I just haven't done it yet. That won't take any time. But I wanted to share that with you guys. I love little hand knit ornaments. Gosh, Christmas. Oh God. I love seeing all the hand knit ornaments that people are making on podcasts right now. I just watched the Grocery Girls, and all the beautiful Christmas ornaments that they have been showing has been wonderful. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Keep sharing, everybody. Who doesn't need more hand knit Christmas ornaments? And they're so great for gifts, aren't they? But that's it for finished objects. Okay, let me go into my whips. I have 2 whips for you. And this is all about socks this episode, okay? We're gonna start with, well, let's go into the one that relates directly to what I just showed you. So this is in my project bag from Hertzblatt Regina, who has a podcast and an Etsy shop. She's a fantastic dyer and makes beautiful project bags. And this is what I was calling you my friendship socks, or what I was saying earlier. Now, one of the cool things, one of the paired up people in the Advent Swap did and shared with us as a group was that they each picked a skein of yarn, because you're supposed to have like an open now gift. It doesn't have to be anything, grand, but they picked a skein of yarn each from their stash, and they coordinated so that the yarn looked right together, and they split it 50 grams each, and they mailed their 50 grams to each other to make socks together. So Mary Claire and I, she brought this one, spun right round, and it's combat boots and baby doll dresses. I love the name of that colorway. And this was one that I chose. Well, we did it together because I was sending her pictures of what was in my stash that I thought would go well with this. And this was Olive Juice 2 by Leading Men Fiber Arts. So I'm making socks with these, and I thought that this was the perfect gift and a memento of our Advent calendar swap. So that's why I did that. But let me show you my socks. They're not done, but you can get an idea of what they look like. All right, there's lots of, well, yeah, I haven't woven any ends yet because I'm making a big chunky stripe here, and then the purplish color, that's the Olive Juice 2 by Leading Men Fiber Arts, that's gonna be a thinner stripe because I'm using that color for my cuff, my toes, and my heels. So I didn't wanna use a lot of that in the colorway, or in the cuff for the striping. So that is this. I just think this is a fun thing to do with somebody around the holidays in particular. My friendship socks. Colorway from her, colorway from me, and we're making socks together. I'm also I did that with my other swap partner, Janice. She lives in Singapore. We swapped yarn as well, but I haven't started my socks with her, but she did a gorgeous color work in her socks. So I really think that's what I'm gonna try for that pair of socks when I start that. I just think that's a fun thing to share, and I'm so glad those ladies shared that with us. My next work in progress. This is the one I shared on Andi's podcast that you guys went bananas over. I love it because I was excited about this too. This is called the Afterthought Everything Socks. It's a pattern by Erica Kempf Broughton. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry. It's $2. But here's the gist of it. So let's just take one sock, because really that's what this is meant. The pattern's meant to do one. Well, and this one is going to become one full pair of socks. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to knit a tube, basically. It's going to be cuff to cuff. So there's a cuff here, and there's a cuff up here. There's going to be a cuff up here. It's going to be a whole tube, right? And I'm going to put in right here, I'm going to cut in an afterthought heel. And when I get to the right length, I'm going to put waste yarn in here for afterthought toes. It's going to separate the tube to make 2 socks. So this one, what looks like one sock, is going to become a full pair of socks all by itself. What I did is I thought, since this is just so new and cool, I'm going to put as many different techniques that I've never tried in here at once. So I'm doing mine two at a time. So these are going to each be a tube, and I'm going to have 2 full pairs of socks. Is that not cool? I'm so excited about this. So some things that I did. First of all, why should you buy this pattern? Because when I describe this to you, that's a pretty easy thing to figure out, right? A lot of people who've done socks does not need a pattern to do this. You can do this on your own. I think that much is obvious. But if you haven't ever done afterthought socks, afterthought heels, or any of that kind of thing, I think it's a great thing to check out that pattern because she gives you those measurements of what you need for where to put your heel, where you're going to mark your heel. And she does use waste yarn. I am using a new technique. For me, it's the cut-in heel, the Kirby Werby tutorial that Jody talked about on the Grocery Girls. I checked that out. That is a great, fantastic tutorial. So I'm going to do a cut-in heel. So I'm not using waste yarn, but she gives you the measurement of where that should be in general. And then also the measurement from the heel to where the toe should start. So that's something good if you don't have to think about it. It's only $2. And while this is very easy to figure out on your own, I think that she deserves the $2 because nobody's really thought of this. I think it's really cool. And I got this from my friend Jenny. We were at a retreat together and yeah, she was doing this and I'm like, what are you knitting? I just thought it's just awesome. But after all the responses that I got from you guys and just how excited everybody was about that, I started a Cal. I started it right after Andi's podcast. So there is a thread in my group, Spicy Homemaker Ravelry group, and it's open till, we'll say January 30th. And the only thing you have to do, you can chatter as much as you want in that thread. At this point, there is no FO thread. I think I will have an FO thread. I don't know yet. The only thing you have to qualify is that at some point, you have to have a picture of your completed tube, okay? So that I know that it's a true afterthought everything sock and not just two afterthought socks that are knit separately. So the directions or the guidelines are in that thread. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. For that Cal, this is going to be one of the prizes. This is by Mustache Yarn, and it's the Perfect Sock Self-Striping OCD skeins. So it's two perfectly matched half skeins twisted together. And this is beautiful. It's her family reunion colorway, 12 even stripes. So this is gonna be one of the prizes for the Cal. So just show you guys that now. What do I want to tell you also about this? Okay, so one of the things I did for myself, I like longer cuffs, and I knew that. So the cuffs I'm knitting here are going to be 7 inches long. I like 7 to 8 inch cuffs. These are going to be 7-inch cuffs, which is about 17.8 centimeters. I am using my vanilla sock pattern, the smooth operator sock pattern, which I intentionally did not put in the toe here, but it's ready for the toe. So I used the measurement from here to here, which I really didn't need that. But if you don't know and you have an afterthought sock ready, you might want to use that measurement. But what I really used was the one from the heel to the toe, because this I already have a finished sock. I know that this measurement is perfect for me. So that measurement for me, I wear size 7 shoes, US size 7. This is 5 1/4 inches from heel to where the toe is going to start. That is 13.3 centimeters for me. So that was a really good guideline to have. I really liked having this to check that out. I wrote those down, and yeah, this is going along good. These little stitch markers, so I put that in right where this is a 7-inch cuff, like I said, and I put the little progress keeper here to mark that. Even though I'm doing a cut-in heel, no waste yarn, I needed to mark that somehow because when I need to know when I get to the 5 1/4 inches for the toe part so I can put in waste yarn. So that's why that's here. And these adorable stitch markers are from Melissa of Knitty by Nature. These are so cute. Oh my gosh, they're little mini socks. I love her stitch markers. They're so pretty. Melissa, these are gorgeous and very well made. Some progress keepers fall apart really quickly. I don't know if you guys have ever had that experience, but progress keepers, like the charm will detach from the hook quite easily on a lot of progress keepers I have. That has not happened with these. Okay, what do you need to know? Also, I am using Magic Loop, which I had never done. Great. I'm not having any issues. This is the Brew City yarns in the Cruella de Vil colorway. I think it might just be called the de Vil colorway. And this is Cat's Kettle in her Pansy Garden colorway, which, man, I'm so in love with this colorway. So in love with this colorway. And I'm keeping them both in my project bag that she did, Katrina from Cat's Kettle. She did a collaboration with Jody, Mrs. Brown's bag. And I love it. Love putting all these together. And the other thing I love about doing these Afterthought Everything socks is that you don't have to cake up 2 balls of yarn. You don't have to split your skein. You don't have to worry about yarns, you know, keeping them separated, because you're just knitting one whole tube for the entire thing. Let's see, is that it that I wanted to tell you? I think that is it. Oh, I said this in Andi's podcast, but I want to say it again here. What I did, because I've never done 2 at a time socks, is I did go to Mina's from the Knitting Expat, her tutorial on 2 at a time socks. That was really helpful. That was very thorough and I was very comfortable starting 2 at a time socks after watching her video. She gives so many tips and it's just so easy to follow. I really, really liked that video. So that is that for the socks. If you guys have any questions about anything on this, feel free to ask me, okay? There's people doing some different things with their socks. They're still gonna do the whole tube, but some people are gonna do like fish lips kiss heels, and they're gonna do some interesting things. As long as you knit the tube, things are flexible. Things are kind of flexible. I mean, that's the whole point, is that you knit a tube that's going to be a pair of socks. So there's some flexibility in there. That is it for knitting. So with that, I think what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over to the section, a little piece of Andi and I, and the questions I asked her. So stay tuned and enjoy. Well, my first question, Andi.
Yes.
We were just talking, first of all, that people who have co-hosts have it so much easier. It's a lot easier to have conversation, clearly, when you have another person.
I know, this has been so much fun. And I think Melissa needs to move to Virginia just so you can podcast with me.
I might have to consider that.
Seriously.
I mean, I can work out here, clearly.
You can.
But I'll be honest. So when I start my podcast, I have to push record and come over here and start. And everybody who podcasts, one of the rookie mistakes you make is you're looking at yourself in the camera. Mine comes out over here and I can see a screen. Andi has this beautiful large screen down here that keeps me...
I know, we keep looking at it.
It's hard.
Because Melissa's face is beneath the lens and I keep wanting to talk to the Melissa down here.
Yes. But what I do, so I'm seeing myself in camera and I'm recording and it's going to be edited out, but I'm preparing. Okay, it's focusing. Do I have, okay, my hair, my lips, I'm looking and I'm doing this, I'm preparing. But one of the other things I do to prepare, which is completely ridiculous, is I brush my teeth. Because clearly you can all smell my breath.
See, I brush my teeth just so I don't have food stuff stuck to my teeth.
I like that reason better. But that's not why I brush my teeth, which is ridiculous.
For fresh breath, I appreciate that. I can understand that. Preparing to speak to yourself through a camera lens is kind of an odd thing to for me. I sit down and I have to I gather all my things. I do have notes of reminding myself of what I want to talk about.
Yes.
But I sit for a moment to collect myself to remind myself who I'm talking to. Is that weird?
No.
There's somebody there. I'm going to be sitting and chatting with friends and I spend some time trying to put myself in that headspace.
I think when you think you could sit here and talk in front of a camera and you won't forget things, I think you're fooling yourself. If you think you're not going to forget it, you will forget it.
I do keep a list of things. Where are my notes? I have a list of notes here.
Yes. You have to.
Just because and if somebody sends me something, I want to make sure I don't intentionally forget.
And I've done that a couple times, and I'm afterwards, I have to put it back in.
Yeah.
You have to prepare. You really do.
The worst is when you're recording, you think you're recording, and it's not recording.
Or your batteries are dead in your microphone.
Oh, or you don't turn it on.
Oh, yes. And I've done those after what I would consider the learning curve.
Or the camera is focused on the back wall and not you, and you have no idea.
And I listen to my podcast, but there's still things that come up, and I'm like, really? After it's posted. How did you miss that? How did I? And
Yeah.
So anyways, I was just talking about how you prepare. And I do. When I watch myself, I'm like, before I edit it out, I'm like this. And it's exactly what it is.
You'll see me futzing around and collecting everything.
Yep.
And then I sit and I look at the camera and try to collect myself so I can start speaking.
And I smile. And I'm like, no, wait, because that's going to be where you're going to edit. So I'm like, hello. And I was like, no, you didn't smile long enough.
I would be curious to see how other podcasters do, especially the solo ones.
Solo ones, yes, I totally agree. All right, so my other question for you. You do lots of craftsy classes, don't you?
I do.
How many do you think you've taken?
Between all of the different kinds, we probably own close to 40.
Okay. What, in your opinion, and I will let you decide,
Okay.
is your, if you can't think of top 3, top 1 craftsy class or top 3 craftsy classes?
Okay. What immediately comes to mind is From Worsted to Woolen by J.C. Boggs Faulkner?
That sounds very...
She's the editor and founder of Ply Magazine.
Oh.
And it just she covers woolen spinning, worsted spinning, all the drafting techniques while she's sitting at a wheel. And that just changed spinning for me. It just made the whole thing make sense.
And I've never heard anybody mention that class ever. So that's very interesting.
And I think she's the one that talks about basically spinning is just taking fibers and adding twists. Once you start twisting it and you pull it apart, it doesn't pull apart anymore. And just simplified the whole thing, demystified the whole thing. So that is that is a top contender.
Okay.
Taken a bunch of sewing classes.
Anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be knitting. Anything that you consider was this is a top-notch class where I learned a lot.
There's a class by, I think it's Faina Guberstein, and she teaches you how to grade patterns. So if you're interested in designing, she shows you how to take an Excel spreadsheet, get your rows per inch, your gauge per inch, and how to apply it to your sweater shaping across different sizes. And so what that did for me, besides, I'm really not interested in being a sweater designer, but having that process demystified really helped in terms of modifying sweaters to fit myself.
Yeah.
And understanding the shaping and the math behind that. It was mind-blowing and kind of demystified sweater knitting in a lot of ways
I like that. Because I know the math isn't hard, but I still need to know what the formula is. And yeah, I would like to take that class.
And if you have a sweater, if you know you're narrower in the shoulders or maybe longer from the shoulder to the armpit, I mean, with her instructions, it becomes very easy to take patterns you have and modify them to fit. Although I've heard a lot of great things about, who's the custom fit? Amy Herzog.
Amy Herzog, yes.
I just signed up. It's funny you mentioned Craftsy. I just bought the Amy Herzog class about customizing sweaters. And I haven't watched it. I've only watched her intro so far.
Right.
But I'm really interested in about that one as well. How about you? Are you a Craftsy class taker?
I have bought them, but I haven't taken any. But I will tell you, the Amy Herzog, I have signed up for her custom fit, and it's basically a database. But she tells you how to measure, and one of the best tips I think is in there, and I've heard several people say this over and over. You have to take several measurements, and you plug it into her database, and it'll spit out. She has certain patterns that are in there. She's an engineer by trade, so that's very encouraging in my opinion. But she says, don't measure yourself. Have someone else measure you. And I've heard people say it over and over that they were off by 1 inch to 2 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, if you're trying to measure your back shoulder, you're pulling them together.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, you need a buddy.
You do.
The buddy system.
You do. So, yeah, that was great. And then I have 3 classes in my queue and that I'm very I want to take. I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
But speaking of, Craftsy, what's the best knitting book?
Okay. You're going to think this is weird. this book might not, like other people who might get this book might not feel the same way about this book. I think it entered my life at the right time in my knitting life to be impactful. I got this used at the bookstore in Oklahoma. It's called The Big Book of Knitting, and I'm sure it's probably from the 1980s or 90s. But it entered my life at a time where I really was trying to expand my knitting skills, and it covers everything from, you can see jacquard patterns, intarsia patterns, special techniques.
Wow.
Invisible seams with grafting stitch. And I read this book from cover to cover. It talks about buttonholes, how to insert invisible pockets, and it just changed knitting for me forever. It talks about the different collars and shapings.
This is a very easy to read book.
Lots of pictures.
Just looking at it, yeah, and it's not long-winded. Lots of pictures. I like this. I like this a lot, and I think the thing you raised was interesting. That saying it came at the right time in your knitting career, life, if you will, because I don't think you picked this up as a beginner.
I don't think this would be meaningful to a beginner.
Right.
But when this came into my life, it was after I had knit a couple of failed sweaters.
Ah, yeah.
And so I had knit like 30 pairs of socks, a couple of really bad sweaters. I hadn't really discovered swatching or gauge yet. And so after reading this from cover to cover, it just changed knitting for me. So
yeah,
I really like this book, cherish this book, and I've actually referred back to it a few times for techniques like buttonholes, or if I want to add a pocket, I've picked this back up.
Practical tips. Yeah, this has got a lot. This is by Katarina Buss.
And I don't even know if it's in print.
Big Book of Knitting. Interesting, because you guys all know Andi is very talented, and so if you say this book's, and just flipping through it, I'm like, wow, and you said this is an 80s book, but you know what? This doesn't have an 80s flavor. It really doesn't.
Do you think it's 90s or?
No, it's probably it's probably 80s. But what I'm saying is, because they're not showing a whole garment, it's just showing little swatches of things. True. Maybe that's why it doesn't feel too 80s.
And the techniques are still the same.
Yes.
Like Kitchener stitches in here, like all of the basics to take a beginner knitter to the next level.
Oh, perfect details. See, yeah, I want to read this book. Because I feel like that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like my knitting needs that next step up. I want my finishing details to be perfect. I want seams, because I just sewed an underarm together on a sweater, and it was not pretty.
Oh, speaking of Craftsy classes, I took one on seaming on Craftsy, and it changed seaming for me. Like piece sweaters, I now look forward to, because I understand the mechanics of what to look for when you're seaming, like matching up stitch for stitch. I don't remember what it's called, but there is a seaming class on Craftsy.
And I think we probably all need that, because a lot of people do not like seaming. But personally, and I haven't really done true seaming. But from the face of it, I'm not put off by it.
Yeah.
I don't mind sewing stuff up, even by hand. But I want it to look nice. So if it didn't look nice, I would be put off by it. Because Amy talks about it, Amy Herzog, most of her sweaters, she'll put it in the round for you. But she says seaming sweaters makes it structurally sound. It makes it a better sweater. It will hold up longer. And I'm intrigued by that. If I knit a sweater, I want it to last forever.
Yeah. And
I put a lot of time and thought into that. I want it to last.
Well, and I have a lot of trouble with sweaters stretching out up here. Yeah. And the shoulder seams provide structure. And drooping, like when you have the armhole seam and the side seam, it does help stabilize the sweater.
Right.
So anyway, that class, again, I wish I knew what it was called. The seaming class on Craftsy. I highly recommend that one.
Okay.
And when she shows you how to put, like, mattress stitch is like magic. If you get it right and you pull it, like your two pieces just zip together like a zipper and come. It's fun. What
I like that. I love it. And I gotta try that. And Craftsy has so many sales.
We need to be like,
especially in the holidays.
We need to get a cut. I could be a Craftsy salesman. I love Craftsy classes.
But I think this is what you should take away from Craftsy, is that you love Craftsy classes. I've heard Helen Stewart from Curious Handmade, who is a designer, loves Craftsy. Stitched in Sweden, Maria, who we all know is very talented, loves Craftsy. You guys, who I consider are the top knitters, talk about Craftsy all the time. So I know they produce quality classes. I know it. I trust every single one of you. So.
Well, and it's interesting because I think the internet, of course, has changed the world forever because you can take a top-notch professional in whatever career path, art form. They teach a class, and for like not very much money, you get to learn from the best of the best. And I think Craftsy does a really good job of bringing the best of the best in to teach.
I agree.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And you know what I love about and once you take the class, it's there forever, right? It's always in your queue. You can go back to it as many times as you want.
Yeah. So
that's a good one. See me. So you've mentioned classes I've never heard of, which I know I'm not the only person who wants to hear that. So that's great. So, okay. Let's just go over 2016. Maybe you don't even have to go that far back. When is the last time you got stuck in your crafting? Something that just kind of stumped you a little bit. And what did you do? How'd you figure it out?
Okay, that was recent. And that was these socks that didn't fit.
Yeah.
And I've learned that when I hit a roadblock and something doesn't fit and I don't know how to proceed, I put it in a timeout.
Yes.
And I take time to think about it because if I just frogged it in frustration, I would have lost all the work I put in. I mean, I did lose a lot of work. I had to rip it back to about here, but I still saved a ton of work. So, I don't know.
And I think what you came up with was brilliant.
That was not
my idea. Of this wasn't?
No, it was Spinning Laura on Instagram suggested, hey, why don't you rip it back and make fingerless mitts? And I was like, yeah, why don't I do that?
And that's one of the things I love about podcasting. Sometimes you'll put a problem out there and you're stuck and you're like, hey, do you guys have any ideas? What do you think I should do? And and sometimes they come up with something so simple and you're like, why did I think of that?
Blogging, when I blogged, I would put a problem out into the blogosphere and I would have, like 5-10 very experienced knitters giving me great advice. And the same is true with the podcast.
Yeah.
If I put a problem out there, there's somebody that has the answer.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That's what if I had to say my favorite thing about podcasting, it was just how many knitters I get to meet everywhere, all over the world, of different skill levels. I love it. I love it.
I do too. I know. It's interesting to have friends all over the globe.
Yeah, it really is.
And how else would I have this friend from Illinois coming to visit me in Virginia?
And I totally do that now. I was supposed to knit with another person last night, but like I said, this work trip was way more involved. And I totally would have done that. She's like, hey, you want to get together and knit? Yes, absolutely. So now whenever I travel, I'm thinking, okay, who's in the area?
Yeah.
Like, who's out there? Let's get together and knit. And so I'm glad I got to come out and knit with you.
Me too, except for now I'm going to be so sad when you leave. I want you to stay.
I know. Oh, okay. Last question I have for you. What is a new skill or technique that you've learned this year that just blew your mind?
Well, recently it was definitely the slipknot cast on. If I'm honest.
That blew my mind. It did. I've never heard of that.
What? I mean, that's the newest skill I've done recently that I was totally. I mean, it was easy and it changes everything in terms of knitting cuff down for me for socks. Mm-hmm. The shadow wraps in this were kind of mind-blowing as well. I feel like any new technique that I learn, I'm blown away. Like, I'm like, wow, I never knew. I mean, it doesn't take much. It just has to be new, and I'm,
That's
excited.
what I love about knitting. You can learn as much or as little as you want, but you'll never, ever, ever stop learning.
No.
There's no way.
For me, I still haven't tried brioche.
Me either.
You haven't tried brioche?
No, but I do want to. I don't personally, on the face of it, like the look of it. Having said that, there have been a few patterns that have changed my mind. Mina's shawl. There's been a couple of shawls, but Mina's
Sizzle Pop?
Yes.
Yeah, I like Sizzle Pop a lot. A lot of people have done that. Katrina, right? Cat's Kettle did it.
And I think that was what Vicky of Sweet Leaps just did, and I loved her yarn choices.
Did Laura Dyer's Notebook do it too? Anyway, a bunch of people did it.
And that's what changed my mind about brioche. Yeah. And I do think I would enjoy the process. I really do.
I do too. I haven't. It looks a little bit like it might be kind of like double knitting because you're carrying two yarns, one on the other. But I don't know the details.
And I think Laura from Jinx Yarns, Dyer's Notebook, she did, it's been months. but she picked 2 yarns that I loved by themselves, but she put them together, and I was one of them. Thought they would look crazy, and she said that she's like, you probably think this looks crazy, but I think it's gonna work out. And it did. It looked gorgeous, and I love that. I love when that's what brioche does. Some really cool things with colors.
Yeah, and I like it when there's patterns and not like just the straight lines. If that makes any sense.
Yep.
I think that's what I like about the sizzle pop is.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
So what'd you guys think? Did you like that? Did you enjoy that with me and Andy? Gosh, guys, really, wow, I had so much fun, and we are really hoping that we can get together and do that again soon. So who knows? Let's dive into a couple reviews that I have been dying to share with you guys. Oh my gosh. So this first one is very easy. I don't know about you guys, but I love lotion bars. I love having lotion bars. I like traveling with them. Like I put them in my purse and my knitting bag. One of the issues that I've been having with lotion bars though is that I haven't found a great traveling one. But the one that I was given to review is Love and Leche, and they are a great family business, total small family-owned business that has a wonderful story that you should really check out on their website. I have this is a big size. I mean, this is about, it fits in the palm of my hand. It's a good size lotion bar. I keep this in my bathroom, and it's got this great imprint of a bee and a sunflower. I use this all the time in the bathroom when I'm getting ready in the bathroom, just in my house, and I put it in. My hands get really dry in the winter. So with lotion bars, the thing that people often complain about is that it feels greasy. So with my hands being as dry as they are, they're wet, not wet, I don't think that's the right word, but it takes a couple minutes for it to soak in. But once it soaks in, they're fine. And it does not take long at all, like a minute to 2. And the 2 viewers who also reviewed the lotion bar said the same thing. It only takes a couple minutes and it's totally in your hands and you can touch things and there's no problem. They gave me a sample that was maybe half this size in a little wax envelope, and I carried that sucker everywhere. I had that in my, that was like the perfect size for traveling. I really wish they would put that size in a tin because I loved that size for traveling. And it was easy to get in and out. That's the other thing with tins. This is great for using at home like this, but I really liked taking that whole lotion bar out of that little envelope and rubbing it on my hands. And I don't know what the good solution is on that. I've never seen anything where it's in a great container that you can take the whole bar out easily. It heats up really fast in your hands, meaning that it can rub real well. That's what another viewer had said. She really liked how it just warms right up and spreads on really easily. So the other thing that I like though that they have is this called Anywhere Balm. I bought this after having reviewed this because I really like their product. This is tiny and I love this. This is meant for anything, but it's a mini lotion. Really good for your lips, but I love this for what I usually do with this is I usually kind of put it on the tips of my fingers and my cuticles a lot. But this is a great little bitty travel size that I love. And my favorite scent that they have is lavender and mint, which I would not have guessed. But the smell is subtle and nice. It's a very clean, crisp scent, which is the kind of smells that I like. They have some stronger ones and some wonderful smells that the other viewers liked. There was a lavender and rosemary, and I think there was a citrus one as well. So wanted to share that with you guys. I love lotion bars. This is the time of year that I think lotion bars rock. They're just great to have. And yeah, I like them so much. I went back and bought more products from them. So there you have it. It was unanimous across the board with the viewers who tried this that they did like this product. So I wanted to share that with you. So let's move on to the next review that I'm really excited about. This is such a unique collaboration. It is a pattern collection. There are 4 patterns in a volume. I think they're calling it, well, they are calling it Point Counterpoint Volume 1. 4 patterns done by 2 designers. They collaborated together. I was intrigued from the very get-go. So when they asked if I wanted to look at their patterns, I said yes, instantly. I said I'd love to ask you guys some questions and answer it and share it with you guys, because I just think this is so unique and fun, and designing is an interesting process to me. So you guys, I have gotten, I don't even know. There were several people who knit some of these patterns and gave some feedback, and it was such wonderful feedback. You guys really liked these patterns, and the designers loved hearing your thoughts, because part of that review process, it wasn't a test knit. These were already published, was telling them what you thought was great about the patterns and what you would have liked to have seen, or maybe something done a little differently. They were really listening. These two ladies, there's Sarah and Mary. They are newer designers who are constantly improving their process. So let's look at the actual pictures of the pattern. The first set is a hat and cowl, and it's called, I don't know if I'm gonna say this one right, the Lichka in the Beach House Breeze. So the Lichka is the hat, and I do like the design on this hat. This is very different. This is not a design that I have seen before, so I'm interested in that. There's light cabling going on in here, so that's very intriguing to me. I like the originality of that. Then also the cowl. That is interesting, because I like how it's a big, full cowl. The way you see it on the model in the picture, she has it laid out over her shoulders. So it's meant to be big around your neck if you put it up underneath your coat like a scarf. But I love that it can go over your shoulders as a shrug kind of a thing. I think that's really cool and interesting. And I've only seen, I've knit a pattern that did not look like this, but had the shrug type thing. And I love that thing. I wear that. That was a very simple pattern that I knit years ago, but I've always liked that. So this is, I haven't really seen too many patterns like this. So that is, yeah, that caught my attention. The other one is the Snowfall on the Mountains in Rainy Season. And this is a fingerless mitts and shawl set. Now, this shawl really caught my eye when I saw my friend Mel in Australia. She knit this shawl, and I loved her colors. They're colors I would have chose, so it really spoke to me seeing it in the colors that I would pick. And I'm going to insert a picture here to show you. I love it. It's beautiful, and it makes me want to knit the shawl. The fingerless mitts, I love fingerless mitts. I think, yeah, I would knit these fingerless mitts. I think fingerless mitts are just one of those great all-around things to knit. And there's like a little texture in the hand of the up here. I think it's nice. And I have a plain stockinette stitch on the design that I did, so I like adding a little bit of interest into the design. So that's really nice. I would knit this. I would knit for sure the Snowfall on the Mountains and Rainy Season. That is the first part that appealed to me. And then I'm really interested in the Beach House Breeze cowl. Hats, I'm not a huge hat knitter, so that didn't stand out to me. I like the design, but I'm not a huge hat knitter. So, take that for what that's worth, which isn't much. One of the things I wanted to share with you guys was the interview. I'm going to post the whole interview in the Ravelry group, but this is such a cool project because these are two newer designers who reached out to each other to collaborate and come up with a collection. So here's how they did it. Each person chose a yarn. So Mary chose a yarn, and she created a pattern of that yarn, right? Now, she didn't give the pattern to Sarah, but she showed a picture of what she created. Now, Sarah has to take that same yarn and create a coordinating accessory to go with it. And that's what she did. And then Sarah did the same thing. She had yarn that she picked out and that she gave to Mary, and she created an accessory piece. And then she showed Mary the picture, and Mary had to come up with a coordinating piece to go with it. I thought that was really brilliant. I loved that idea. I thought that was so cool. And one of the reasons they did this is that Mary was really just, she didn't like feeling in competition with other designers. She really wanted to do something that was a collaboration and encouraged herself and somebody else, and also challenged them, which I just love this story. You guys have got to read this review because I'm not going to do it justice kind of summarizing it for you guys. And one of the things Sarah said that she liked about this process is that she said designing is a very isolating process. So doing this with another person was a lot of fun. It just added a level of just enjoyment, you know, and also it just challenges you, and there was accountability there because you're with someone. Because the design process, as they've said, and I've heard other designers say, that one of the worst parts is just taking it from the design to publishing. That's a long process. You can come up with this great design, but then you have to commit it to paper, and you have to test knit it and all these good things, and then you design it, and you're doing it all by yourself, you know. It's got to be more fun with another person, and that's exactly what they said. So this was just I just thought this was such an interesting collaboration, and Mary wants to do future collaborations with other designers, so she plans on having a volume 2. I'm excited to see where they go with this and how it works. I think they are both very talented designers, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing us to review this. And thank you to all the viewers who reviewed this as well. You guys, this was so much fun. This was great. And thank you to Love and Light J for letting us review this too, and letting viewers review your product. I loved including you guys. That was just a lot of fun to hear your thoughts and not make me feel like I'm doing it all on my own. So that was the reviews. Okay, so let's go over who won the prizes for the Wee Little Knit-along that closed out. I did that with Mina of the Knitting Expat, and the chatter thread. The winner of that was Tiffany from Texas. She is TX Woman 5031 on Ravelry. Tiffany, you won this beautiful skein of yarn from Francophile Knits, along with these tiny flower buttons. So this is going to you. Tiffany, send me a message on Ravelry with your address, and I will get those out to you. The Instagram winner, okay, let me see if I can get this. I'm just going to spell it. It's OUIMAZIE 7. Oimazy 7? So you won this gorgeous bag from Olivia of This Handmade Life that is hand embroidered, beautiful. Olivia, or not Olivia, I'm sorry. I don't know the name of this person on Instagram. She didn't have a name on there, but I was just going to say, please send me a message and I will get this out to you as well. So thank you so much, guys, for participating in that cal. That was a lot of fun, and I like giving you guys prizes. Let me know. You'll have a couple weeks to do that, and if I don't hear from you, I will draw again, is what I'm going to do. That's what we're going to do. So yeah, that is it for the Knit-along. Now, before I show you guys my stash, really quick, I wanted to say hello to Sarah of the Dabbling Shepherdess podcast. I really like her podcast, guys. If you have not watched Sarah, you totally want to check her out. She is so sweet. She is so much fun. She's hilarious, and she dabbles quite a bit in a lot of different crafts. So if you're looking for a new podcast to watch, you may want to check her out. Sarah of the Dabbling Shepherdess podcast. Wanted to get that in there. All right. Let's look at some yarn and project bags, and we'll wrap it up and call it a day. How about that? Okay. Oh my goodness. We're going to do this a little bit fast and furious. Let's start up at the top here in no particular order. This is by Artistic Lily. It's so funny that I had to podcast to find people who are close to me to knit with. Interesting. Lily is not her name. And I, of course, forgot her name momentarily. Lily is her daughter. And we're going to meet up for coffee soon because she lives very close to me, 2 towns over, and I'm excited. But anyways, I bought some yarn, or no. She sent this yarn to me, which is amazing because her yarn is gorgeous. Okay, 3 skeins. I cannot believe she sent 3 skeins. I am definitely keeping this one. This is the Beautiful colorway. It's in her Feel Good 4-ply superwash socks, 400 meters, and it is just gorgeous and subtle, and I love the speckling. I love the subtlety of some of the speckles. You got this shot of hot pink and gray, but I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I love this. This is mine. She said I can keep it all. I really want to, but I'm not going to, okay? I don't know. These will be future prizes. I might keep one of them because this is so hard. I like them both. This is called A Little Envy, and this is called Doesn't Come From a Store. And this one has Stellina, and this one does not. This is a Christmas colorway. It's the Dazzle Me sock. I'm loving Christmas this year, like Christmas yarn. I'm all about the Christmas yarn this year. And then this one is just, I don't have anything like this in my stash. This is gorgeous. The greens are beautiful. And then there's like this bluish gray in here. One of these will be a prize, if not both of them. I probably won't give this out as a prize because it's Christmas yarn. It'll be too late. So I think I'll have to keep this one. But I'll give you guys this one. Stay tuned. Who knows? I might feel guilty and end up putting this one in there too. We'll see. One of these are definitely going to be future prizes. So thank you so much for that. Her yarn is gorgeous and beautiful. She has some wonderful colorways. It was really hard to decide. And she has some wonderful bases too. She's on Etsy, Artistic Lily. All right, let's look at this. Andi sock blank. I got to see Andi, and that lovely woman gave me one of her gorgeous Christmas sock blanks. Look at that. Beautiful. Thank you, Andi. This might be one of those ones that I can't knit with. I don't know. We'll see. Do like sock blank knitting. Let me show you what I got from my friend Tara, who has donated a prize to the podcast. Did not bring the, oh, yes, I did. Here it is. So this is a future prize. This might go with the socks. I was thinking this might go with the Afterthought Everything socks. I think this is going to be a prize for it. So we have that skein of mustache yarn, and then this gorgeous project bag with llamas. There's a handle on it, and these minis. So she has a Etsy shop called Mitchell's Creations, and she makes she has handmade knits. Oh, because she made me this. Look at this, and she does sell these in her shop. It's a coffee cozy. Is that what you call it? The thing that goes around your coffee cup to keep you from burning your hands. And it has an M. She monograms them. She sells these in her shops. I love this, Tara. Thank you so much. Yes, I love these. Love them. So that will be used soon. I've been waiting to show you guys before I did that. But this is going to be a prize for you guys. So she has minis. She has hand-dyed yarn, project bags. She crochets. She has those. It's great. She gave me this. Oh, I can't believe she gave me this. So I've got this gorgeous bag in here. Why didn't I open it up? I don't know why I didn't open it up. Let me open it up real quick. Okay, this bag is beautiful. This bag is so gorgeous. And it has a handle. I love project bags with handles. I'm loving the green fabric. And the inside, look at that. So this is fun. I love this bag. This is so pretty, and I cannot wait to use it. She has minis in here and yarn. And there's, what is this? Ooh, it looks like a progress keeper, I think. Yes, it is. Oh, how fun is that? It's like a little toucan bird. Aw. These minis and her yarn here. This one is called Into the Woods colorway. Oh, that's such a great name for that colorway. Look at the grays in that, and the green and the aquas in there. How cool. That is fun, and I love my minis. Love my minis. So thank you, Tara, so much. I cannot believe you did this. This was just, you guys, the generosity of our community will never cease to amaze me. Never. Never. The other thing I have 2 more things. Okay, 3 more things. Let me show you this real quick. This is from my friend Lauren. She and I met up at Rhinebeck. We both live in Illinois. No, she does not live in Illinois. Man, I'm getting people crossed. Her name is Lauren, and she made this bag for me. They're definitely my colors. And I love this beautiful green zipper at the top. And she puts these in here. I've gotten a couple of gifts from her, and it's these little cedar hearts, and they smell wonderful. And she puts them in the bags and things. I really like that. It's just really clever and pretty. So thank you, Lauren. I love project bags from friends. Those are like my favorite. And then, speaking of friends, I ordered some yarn from Connie of Chili Knits. I got to meet her at Rhinebeck and spend some time with her, and she is so lovely. And she has a new podcast out called Chili Knits. It's a lot of fun. Her mom is in there. They're doing some fun things. If you want to check out a new podcast, you should totally do that. Connie has very colorful yarn, and it reminds me of Connie because Connie's very colorful and fun and sweet. And she made me this project bag. Look at this, you guys. This is so cute, and it's donuts, colorful donuts. Who doesn't love donuts, right? And then there's this little thing on here that says, live, laugh, and love. Gosh, this just so reminds me of Connie in so many ways. It's so perfect. So I love, thank you, Connie. Now let me show you her yarn. So I bought some yarn, and she included some others in there as well, another skein. These are the two that I bought. This is a one of a kind, and it is called Tropical Frog. And she's starting to branch out and do some different colors. And this is different. This is not like her signature colors. This is more of what Connie usually does. And she still does a lot of these colors. And this is called Maybe. Love them both. She also included this gorgeous colorway. And oh, wouldn't you know it, the tag is off. I should know, I cannot remember the name of the colorway, but this is a beautiful Stellina. And she said, you know, I could knit something for Ruby, my daughter, with it. And I actually think I will. This matches her coat. She's got pink hearts on it. And I think a little hat or some mitts would be really cute in this for Ruby. One of these, and again, I'm stuck. I will probably use one of these as a prize in the future, but I don't know. I love them both, and they're so different. Like, how did I choose between two very different yarns? I can't promise anything on this front. We'll see. We'll see. But thank you, Connie, so much for that. I love it. And last but not least, last one. I got a surprise from Sue of Legacy Knits. Okay, you guys know Sue has been dyeing yarn, and it is amazing. It is amazing. She is so gifted at putting colors together. You yarn dyers, wow. She sent this, We'll Make Snow Angels, which I love the name. Her names for yarn are so creative. Her and Chelsea come up with the most creative names. But look at this. Oh my gosh, it's a Christmas yarn, and I love it. I am one of those people who likes this color of blue as a Christmas color. This is beautiful. And then she sent me some minis. Oh, look at that. Look at all those gorgeous colors. Oh my gosh. I love these. I love these. I love these. With such happy mail day, happy mail week this week. Yeah, you guys, it's been really busy, and yarn does make me very happy to come home to yarn. Always, 110% of the time, always lifts my spirits and makes me smile. So thank you so much, Sue. Thank you to each of you guys. I am so blessed to be a part of this community. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I never take any of this for granted. It is just, you guys are amazing. You're the best, and proud to be a part of this community. What can I say? That is it. My notes have dropped off somewhere. And we've covered a lot of ground, so we're going to wrap it up. And until next time, bye.